Pusha T and Jay-Z are in the Epstein files with the perfect person to cover the situation. Video by Anthony Fantano. Dog, I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna do an in-depth video on all of the things in the Epstein files because there's mentions of torture, more stuff implicating Trump, a lot of stuff implicating Elon Musk in there too, like a whole lot. But what struck out to me the most was the fact that Jay-Z and Pusha T were mentioned in these files. Now, Jay-Z, he's a billionaire. So I ain't gonna lie. When I heard Jay-Z was in there, I wasn't too surprised. I was like, he's a billionaire, you know what I'm saying? Some may have, you feel me? But Pusha T, like, him and Malice just dropped one of the hardest rap albums in 2025. Pusha T. We serious? Good Lord, bro. We're like a month and a couple days into 2026. And things is already getting crazy. Let's get into this, man. Let's go.
We are a month, just one single month into 2026. And honestly, guys, I'm not sure if I could take much more of this year already. I've already seen too much in January, gotta be honest. Because as it is being reported in numerous outlets, the government has finally released another batch of Epstein file documents, sometimes lightly, sometimes heavily redacted. Of course, this dump has been a total of 3 million.
Whoever is, there's two theories that I've heard, bro. One, the person that's redacting this shit is a dumbass because they don't know how to redact shit correctly. But also, two, maybe this person is being sloppy with the way they're redacting things on purpose, so that way people can uncover the stuff for themselves, stuff like that. You know, a good Samaritan in the government somehow. Those are the two theories that I'm hearing. Now, I don't know if there's validity to any of those, but yeah.
In documents including thousands and thousands and thousands of images and videos, as well as emails from Jeffrey Epstein himself. And there have been some very curious points of exposure. There's been some questionable stuff that we've learned about Elon Musk, Bill Gates.
Oh, yeah. By the way, one, I do want to say, look at the files that just got released yourself to see all of this stuff. But bro, Elon Musk was getting straight bitched by Epstein in these messages, bro. Like you'll see Epstein will text something, then Elon will text him back immediately, and then it'll take Jeffrey Epstein like 2 to 3 days to respond, bro. Like oh man, Elon Musk is getting treated like a hoe, bro.
Questionable stuff that we've learned about Elon Musk, Bill Gates. But I'm not just bringing this up to talk about politics, because there is at least one major relevant story to the music world coming out of this file dump, which was making waves on social media this weekend. Apparently Jay-Z and also Pusha T's names turn up in these documents. So I thought we would look at the doc in which their names turn up and see what exactly is going on. I want to say before we go any deeper into this video, this type of content for this channel is usually pretty difficult to do. Typically involves a lot of censorship and kind of dancing around literally the topics that we are discussing as a means of not getting these videos demonetized. Because frankly, for those of you who want me to be discussing these issues, if these videos aren't getting monetized, YouTube is not sharing them to you, regardless of how vital the information in them may be. So please just know if certain details are being edited or glossed over a little bit, it is not my intention to sort of downplay the severity of what is being
Okay.
discussed here. These documents are public record, and you are well within your right to look them up for yourselves and see what's in them too.
And that's one thing that I'm going to encourage right here. I'm making a reaction video to this, and we're also going to look into the files in a later video. But please, Marso Mafia and everybody watching, look at these files for yourself. It's long. I'm not going to lie. It's probably going to take you a cool couple of weeks to a month just to dissect it, even if you have all the free time in the world. But yeah, I'd probably just say, since a lot of y'all are busy, a lot of y'all got jobs, stuff like that, just take 1 to 2 hours out of your day, look through it if it's of importance to you.
In fact, I recommend that you do that and you not just simply trust any one single source or random people on the internet to tell you what is in these files.
Yeah.
Okay, so what has turned up here is in just this single 2-page file from the FBI, which I will read through now. It is described as having been logged in July 10th of July, 2019. It came in at 8:20 a.m. Eastern Time over the FBI National Threat Operations Center hotline. This person called to identify herself as a victim of Jeff and others. Now, before I go deeper into this, I do want to say that the information here was sent in via a call through a number where when contacting the FBI, they have to take and they have to log all of this stuff legally because it is public information, even if it's not necessarily publicly available per se. It's the public information in terms of the government needs to own it and keep track of it. And the reason that's important is that there is a delineation between the nature of this and what we've broadly been discussing as Epstein files up till this point, meaning investigation-related documents the FBI collected while charging and convicting Jeff, which what we're reading here is not related to any investigation of the sort. Rather, it is a tip that, as far as I know, the FBI has not followed up on or have shown any further proof of investigating. But in approximately 1994, blank revealed herself to blank as a past victim of abuse by Jeff, described the abuse occurring during parties, further identified blank as a friend of blank. Again, the redactions. In approximately 1996, blank resided with blank in blank. An unknown man abducted her from her home, whence she later awoke in the presence of Harvey Weinstein and Sean Carter.
Jesus Christ. Oh, nah, that's a nightmare blunt rotation right there, bro. Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, and damn, holy damn. And this was 1996. This is around the time where Jay-Z was just getting lit, right? All my old heads in the comments, all my unks, let me know if I'm right. 1996 was around the time where Jay-Z was like first starting to get lit in terms of like mainstream. I knew he was probably already known around like the East Coast, New York, stuff like that. But I feel like 1996 or 1998 was when he was going mainstream.
While Weinstein had, I'm not going to read that out loud, but it does say here that she believed she was in Epstein's mansion in Florida. The victim estimated she was abducted on 7 occasions, awaking each time in an opulent indoor setting, not alleging it's the same setting, a different setting, or just different opulent indoor settings, or I don't know. Blank suffered from abuse on multiple of those occasions in which Epstein participated. Blank recalled Leon Black and William Barr, current United States Attorney General, being present during some of the occasions of abuse. In approximately 2006, Blank last recalled being abused by Epstein. Okay, so this is the first half and the section in which Jay-Z's name comes up. And while an allegation is an allegation is an allegation, what has me kind of skeptical here is the time frame in which Jay-Z is cropping up here. 1996, which is not the earliest point of his career, but early enough in terms of his studio album discography. He was barely having moved out of Marso at that point, and his first record only sold like 43,000 copies. There's been a litany of debates going back and forth about like whether or not it would have been believable for Jay-Z to sort of have been in these kinds of circles way back in 1996, which I know the waters do get muddy.
That does sound a little crazy, bro. You got all these like billionaires and like famous ass people, and then you just got some nigga from Marcy Projects right there next to him. That's crazy. But yeah, I say when did he really start blowing up? What was that, like 98, 2000? Somewhere around there.
How popular and massive Jay-Z is as a figure now. So as a result of that, it's kind of easy to almost like, always imagine him in that frame when, I'll be real, regardless of what people want to say in terms of Jay-Z's relevance within hip hop at that point, white people, specifically white people were not even having a hint of who Jay-Z was until Hard Knock Life dropped. That's just for real. I'll also note that years ago at this point, Jeffrey Epstein's Little Black Book, as we know it, that was packed full of celebrities and verified to be authentic. Yeah, that leaked a while ago, and there were lots of celebrity names in that black book, obviously not all of which were involved in his crimes. But I noticed from what I see, Jay-Z's name is not in there anywhere. Again, on its face, the allegation, the story itself doesn't seem like the most outlandish in the world. What leaves me wondering is the lack of a paper trail or any sort of communications. Because, I mean, as the thousands of other documents that have dropped have shown, Jeffrey wasn't.
Oh, yeah, by the way, I just want to say right here, bro, Anthony isn't, defending or denying, Jay-Z doing whatever is alleged here. He's just going off of what he's seeing, bro. And that's what I feel like everybody else should do. Go off of what they see. Go off of what they see throughout these files.
Regular contact with a lot of his most famous and successful and demanding associates. The idea that Jay-Z would be doing this, but his name wouldn't be getting thrown around seems kind of strange to me. And in a way that's even kind of stranger for Pusha T, who turns up in this next page here. Same call, same allegation, just continued. So on each occasion in which this person was being abducted as well as taken advantage of,
2007.
She believed she was drugged, clouding her memory, and attributed the drugging as frequently performed by persons assigned as handlers, whom she described as persons who established friendships with the victims. Among her handlers, blank identified the artist Pusha T. Another allegation comes after this, but I want to address this part first, because it's very difficult to square given the specificity of this timeline here. Because again, the victim says that she was abducted 7 times between the years of basically 2006 and 1996. And within that period of time, at the beginning of which, keep in mind, Pusha T is a 19-year-old from Virginia. For an unspecified amount of times, Pusha T was drugging her and was also her handler. Again, it's not specified how many times Pusha T was involved in this process, but enough to be among these individuals who were seen as having established friendships with the victims. And again, that's just really confusing for me personally, because I can't quite make sense of how this would work in the earlier portion of this timeline or even the latter portion. Because do I see Pusha T as a barely legal teenager from Virginia being a full-time or part-time trafficking handler on behalf of Jeff Epstein? That I don't know. But even deeper into the 2000s, at the height of Clips's popularity and success, I have a difficult time making sense of this too. And again, maybe it wouldn't if the allegation were merely, Pusha T was among the many celebrities that Epstein was involved with during that time. But no, the handler framing makes it seem almost as if he's like working for him.
Yeah.
You want me to believe that Pusha T, while being one half of Clips and kind of building up this fledgling rap career, is a part-time, full-time handler for Epstein. So again, while obviously turning up in this file dump has me really worrying and really concerned, simultaneously the idea of Pusha T in this portion of his life finding the time to serve in this role for Jeff, while also doing it and leaving basically no paper trail, no communications of Jeff to him back and forth in this recent dump anyway, again, has me kind of wondering. It's after this another allegation comes, and the alleged victim says that she had another run-in with Pusha T, which also included Harvey Weinstein at a 2007 party. This particular occurrence seems to have
Harvey Weinstein's still in jail, right? I'm pretty sure he still is. Good Lord, I hope that nigga rots in jail. Oh my God. I remember being in class in 2017, hearing about that shit, reading about it, like, bro, that nigga Harvey Weinstein, there isn't even a spot in hell for that nigga. Like, whatever is like worse than hell, him right there. Him, Jeffrey Epstein, but bro, whatever's worse than hell, put them niggas there. Off bucks, put them niggas there, bro. Because Jeffrey Epstein was super duper overly bad, but Harvey Weinstein was right there with him. Right fucking there with him.
do with Epstein, at least from the framing of this document. She just so happens to have been invited to a party by an unknown man. Pusha T and Weinstein were there, according to the allegation. She was drugged, taken advantage of. And I feel like this portion of the allegations is maybe a little bit easier to swallow, maybe because it doesn't involve anything other than a single encounter, like not an ongoing claim of some sort of handler type employment. But also, especially considering how well connected Harvey Weinstein was and how open he was about who he knew and who he commiserated with and who he worked with and who was like, a part of his circle of collaborators and so on and so forth. Do we have any info on whether or not Pusha T even knew Harvey Weinstein? The alleged victim also says that she believes she was basically under surveillance and stalked at the direction of people involved in the abuse. It is also said that she confirms that she was not diagnosed with any mental illness, but again, that's by her account. And also says she refused to provide a physical address, advising that she maintained no permanent address. Rather, she moved between staying at different hotels. Look, a lot of people coming into this video are going to be curious as to what my personal assessment of all of this is, what it means. And let it be known, I am not a fucking FBI investigator.
Facts.
If I was, I probably would have looked into this immediately to the best of my abilities to see whether there was any validity in it or not. But as it currently stands, this has me concerned, but I'm also kind of skeptical because there are also no corroborating images, videos, or emails citing anything in this allegation, or even that there was a direct line of communication, or even
and like Anthony Fantano said before, the times don't make sense. Like 1996, Jay-Z was known around New York. Jay-Z was known on some parts of the East Coast, but he wasn't to the level of where he was in, when A Hard Knock Life came out, early 2000s, stuff like that. Like, he wasn't at that level. If this time frame was to say, like, oh yeah, 2004, 2005, I'd slightly see it. But 1996, this is like adding Drake into this, but being like, oh yeah, Drake did this to me in like 2007 or like 2008. So yeah, the dates ain't really making sense. With Pusha T, it's the same thing. Like 2007, like Clips was up, yes, but Pusha T as a solo artist, he was still kind of like not underground, but he wasn't like up there in the mainstream yet. People just knew him, because he was in Clips, stuff like that, and he was cool with Pharrell, had songs with Pharrell, stuff like that. So yeah. You make your own assessment of this, but me, I don't know. I got to see more information before I can get my true thoughts out, because right now all we have is just years in when this happened, and it's not making sense in my opinion. But you look at these files yourself and you come up with your own assessment. Me, I need a little more info before I'm just outwardly like, oh, Jay-Z and Pusha T, y'all niggas did this, that, and the third. But like I said in the first part of this video, Jay-Z is a billionaire, so it wouldn't surprise me if he was in the same room as some of these people that were doing the most heinous shit. So I don't know. We'll see. The world of celebrities is always filled with some weird shit that you don't even know about. So who knows? They could or couldn't be. I'm not gonna say what it is until I see more information.
An indirect line of communication between Jay-Z and Jeff and Pusha T and Jeff, because as some of these emails indicate too, sometimes Jeff was having discussions with others through a third party. I will also say, given our recent video on Michael Jackson with respect to these documents, there is reason to question and wonder about the motives of the government when dropping certain pieces of documentation that involve celebrity names with regards to Epstein, because often that can have the effect of distracting people from the biggest names in the files. Yeah. And also how many times
a lot of people were way too focused on this whole Jay-Z and Pusha T thing and not as focused on the fact that Donald, like he said, Donald Trump was mentioned 38,000 times in the latest batch of Epstein files, and Elon Musk was mentioned multiple times and had multiple email, text message threads with Jeffrey Epstein. Like, those are the real names that people need to be looking out for, and Bill Gates too. Good fucking Lord, bro. Oh, this Epstein deep dive video that I'm going to do is going to be a fucking doozy.
Trump turns up in the files yet again, because obviously for a lot of internet users, it's way more fun to talk about celebrities. Even when in that previous document dump, there were images that involved Michael Jackson that had nothing to do with Epstein in there and were clearly worked in as a means of making Michael the story here. And while I don't think that's the same play that's being executed here, I do think there is an intentional muddying of the waters when you dump all of this documentation at once and basically act as if these images or photos of Jeff with victims or maybe people who he was connected with at this time, treating that as if it has the same level of significance as a hotline tip that there was no further investigation on and no corroborating evidence on. I'm just going to have different reads on those two things. I will also say I'm interested to see how Jay-Z or Pusha T respond to all of this, especially given that in recent years, when allegations such as these have come up with regard to Jay-Z, he has been quite litigious. It would be kind of surprising to me if he did not.
I ain't gonna lie. I don't know if they're gonna respond at all to this. I feel like their lawyers are probably like, yeah, bro, don't respond to this shit. Like, just don't respond to this shit. If anything comes up, we'll handle it in court. I feel like that's what their lawyers are telling them to do.
Attack this allegation with the same viciousness. And the final thing I want to say before I close this video out, the way in which this document and the story of this alleged victim here has been cynically weaponized in, of course, Stan Wars. Yes, people who already had a reason in their minds to hate Pusha T and hate Jay-Z because he made a diss track against Drake a decade ago at this point.
Yeah,
when you have
bro. All this Stan War bullshit, I'm not gonna lie, fool. Cut that shit out. At the end of the day, this ain't about your favorite celebrity. This isn't about yada yada. It is about exposing what happened within this time frame, bro. It is about the victims. And I feel like a lot of people, that just like goes over their head. They're so focused on this person, that person, and not realizing that this is about the victims getting justice, bro. This is about the victims. Like, I don't see. I mean, obviously, I don't want the victims' names to be mentioned, but I need people to be more perceptive of the fact that, bro, please focus on getting justice for these victims, bro. Please, man.
Tubs of shit like Los Pollos tweeting this story out. When morons like that are coalescing so quickly around a story like this, it just reads as a little.
Los Pollos gonna be so good if he finds out that Drake is. Oh my God! Let there somehow be a pic of Drake and Jeffrey Epstein, nigga. It's over. It's over, bro. Oh my God, bro. And I fuck with Drake here and there with certain songs, stuff like that. But, fool, some of you Drake fans be sipping copium like a motherfucker. So, it would be crazy to see what happens if he gets mentioned in these files.
Desperate and transparent. Like, I'm sorry, no, I don't wholeheartedly believe that the OV-Ho fan base who watched Champagne Papi cheer for the freedom of Tory Lanez after he shot Megan. No, I don't believe that fan base cares about the well-being of women. And look, even without an Epstein connection, hip-hop and the music industry at large has had issues along these lines for years. Jay-Z for years had pretty close connections with R. Kelly, and even more figures have been closely connected to Diddy, be it through their personal life or their music. I mean, even Push. So look, guys, I'm not coming on here to say like, oh, there's no reason to question anything. There's no reason to be concerned about, various allegations going on within the music industry. For sure, absolutely, positively there is. But is this particular document here, like, setting off alarm bells in my head, not fully, but there could be corroborating information coming out on the way, given that this is making the kind of buzz and headway that it is as a story. We'll just have to see. So as of right now, I'm going to...
And not to Anthony Fantano, shout out to him for this video, but I'm pretty sure there's more files coming out next week or the week after. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might be mistaken, but there are more. And yeah, man, we'll see what's happening with that. But man, I can't call it. I can't call it, man. I need more information. We can't call it. I can't call it, man. So I'm not gonna say, oh yeah, they didn't do it, or I'm not gonna say, oh yeah, they did do it. It's a slippery slope right now, man. But yeah, don't jump to conclusions with shit like this. And just think critically. Think critically, man. And dude, I ain't gonna lie. The thing that's throwing me off the most is the fact that people are paying more attention to this than the fact that Trump was mentioned in this new batch of the files 38,000 times. Same with Elon Musk and Bill. Oh my God, the shit Bill Gates did, fool. I thought his wife only divorced him because of maybe he wasn't good in the sack. Maybe I don't know what it was, but now we know, bro. This nigga was hanging and kicking it with one of the worst fucking people in the world. Yeah. But we'll keep track of this Epstein stuff as it keeps going. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. I love y'all so much. Marso Mafia the gang, Marso Mob the squad. And I'm gonna see you in the next video. Peace.